Zulu PRA for sure.
There we go.
All right, welcome to Prize Picks on 5 on the Fire Reasons YouTube channel. I was expecting a countdown. Major doesn't give me a countdown. There's no warning. There's nothing like that. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick. I got a 5 Reasons Sports. I got Major Passage. You can follow him at Major_Passage to another location. And we've got Tony Mejia. You can follow him at Mejia Dinero. We have been telling you to use the code 5, delete another code if you see it in there. We've also tried to make things easier for you. There's a link in the description. This one will work. It will actually populate. That's what we've been told. So use the code 5 or use the link in the description. Put down your $5, play it, and you get $50 in free lineups. They will be on the Explore page. So trying to make it easy for you. Again, Prize Picks is the official fantasy sponsor of 5 Reasons Sports Network. You can play it in the state of Florida, but just a warning, you can't play college football there. So we know that we have a lot of listeners and viewers who are outside of the state of Florida. And for this show is for you. Even if you're not a fan of UM or Ole Miss, we're going to give you some of our plays today. We're going to tell you whether to go more or less. And I'll give you a heat play just for fun. Major, let's start here. What do you like best in terms of the Canes tonight?
Yeah, so I'll just say this. I'm in Georgia, so I can play in Georgia. So I do have the board up here. So I like Lacey, Ole Miss running back, to get 76.5 rushing yards. I think this is going to be a game where it's not going to be typical Canes football in the past 2 playoff games. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring. I think Ole Miss is really going to rely on their running game, and then Trinidad maybe hit them for some big plays and stuff. But with that, me saying I don't think it's going to be the typical. So like I said, I'm going to go Lacey more than 76.5. For Carson Beck today, I'm going to go his completions, and I'll have to see if I can find it. It's 20.5. You can see, pull it up here. He's been mostly around this. For Texas A&M, he was a little bit lower, but that I would be willing to bet he's not going to be around 14. I think Miami's going to have to pass a little bit more than they would like to. Trust Carson Beck to not make a mistake, which can be very wishy-washy at times, but I think there are going to be a lot of underneath passes and more points, like I said, than typical Canes playoff games.
What do you think, Tony? Would you play Beck more or less?
I would play him less. I'm of the belief that Mario Cristobal is going to try to make this a fourth quarter game where his wonderful game management skills, and that's him being facetious, hopefully don't come back to bite him. But look, I think it's a Mark Fletcher game. From the standpoint that you want to keep Chambliss, you want to keep your defense fresh to get after Chambliss, and you want to keep him from getting into a rhythm. So I actually like Chambliss to go over his rushing yards, but I like Mark Fletcher to go over his rushing attempts. I think he'll be the bell cow today in this one. So,
and you can also play that down a little bit if you want. You can see the Goblins there. That's one of the things about Prize Picks. You don't necessarily have to play the front number. You can toggle it back and forth. I see the 15.5 carries. That feels pretty safe. 96.5 rush yards. Maybe not so safe. We'll see. I think he's got to be over that number or more than that number. I think I can say over, not the context of playing it. I think he's got to be more than that number if they're going to have a chance to win. I do. I think he's got to be in the 110 plus range if you're going to have a chance to win. Anything else strike you in this particular game, Major? Like I know you say you try to keep it a little bit more low scoring, but yeah, Miami had some. I mean, there was some weird stuff early in that Ohio State game that I felt like they were just kind of holding on for dear life in the second half once Ohio State started to get going.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I looked at is like Malachi Tony. Eventually, you got to think he's going to do something on the playoff, right? So maybe you go with him, or a lot of people are like riding the wave, so you go under. I know I did Carson Beck like over pass attempts, but his rush yards is also interesting at under because in college you do lose it for sacks. So if he's passing a lot, he's not like this amazing runner, and you can see most of the time he doesn't get any. So those were a couple of the others. Tony, I would like his number to be a little bit lower to go more on, but to your point, you can use Goblins too.
What do we have on Malachi Tony receptions? Because they could use a lot of bubble screens to try to get the ball.
That's true. That would be something to play. 5.5 on the lower number.
5.5 is the Goblin. You can even go all the way down. really you can do whatever you want. It seems like from 4 to 9.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. Once they start to get in the bigger games, Prize Picks will pretty much let you play like every step of the ladder, one way or another. Look, I think if you're going to play it all the way down to 4.5 catches, you're probably pretty safe. But I don't know where I would go with that. CJ Daniels to 3.5 receptions. I might look at his yardage rather than the receptions. Today they've used him as a deep threat. Obviously, having some of the big games, 44.5. I probably play that more today, but I can see both of your points here about Mario trying to make this a possession game at the end. I can also see maybe Carson Beck gets a little bit loose, so we'll see how that plays out. All right, I want to give one Heat play because I know we got a lot of our listeners here in Florida, and they can't play this particular game, although they'll probably be watching it. We know nobody's watching 5 on the Floor tonight, so I don't even know if we'll produce an episode. You're all watching Mike McDaniel leave his house or the Canes game, one of those two things. This is a football day in South Florida, and I run basically a basketball network. But a couple of things I'm going to play less than tonight. The Heat are healthy in Chicago. Everybody's projected to play. Jaquez is probable. I have no idea what they're going to do with the starting lineup, but I know that Kel'el Ware is probably going to get screwed. So I'm going to play him under today. I'm going to play him under 11 points. I can see Spo going small in this game and putting Ware on the bench to make this thing work. And he's going to force Tyler back in the starting lineup. And I think Ware is the guy who's going to move. Brady disagrees with me, but we'll see. I don't think this is what he should do, but I think this is what he's going to do. And you can see Tyler at 20 points. He'll get that in his sleep. He'll make sure to get the shots. I would play the Goblin of 14.5 of Tyler as well. You do have Jaquez playing tonight. I don't know that I necessarily trust it because he's coming back from an ankle injury. But one guy to play against the Heat is Bucelis. He has gotten off every single time he's played against them. I would play Modest tonight in all of his category. Yes, 17.5 points. Yes. Oh, play it more. All right. Thanks, guys. Check out Major's work all over the network, including also obviously on the Heat on SI page. Tony's on all the on SI pages as well. And we'll have more fantasy and other coverage for you here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, and make sure you look for Six Rings Canes. They will have a live show either late tonight or tomorrow morning. The day after show that they do will be here on the network. Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks for watching to Prize Picks on 5, powered by Big Picks Energy.